Our lives are but a single breath. We flower and we fade, yet all our days are in your hands. We return in love what love has made. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, what God has ready for those who love Him. Spirit of love, come give us the mind of Jesus. Teach us the wisdom of God.
Welcome to your cathedral. I'm Father Greg Sakowicz. Special thanks once again to Mark Teresi and David Jonas for providing wonderful, beautiful music. It so helps, adds joy, the presence of God to our video presentation. So Mark and David, thank you very much. Special thanks again to also Father Mark, producer Smolka, who has done this for now, I think Mark for about a year and a half now, these weekly videos. So Mark, fabulous job, week in and week out with a smile. You put up with me. He's shaking his head yes. So Mark, dziękuję. Now, I dedicate this opening story, this joke, to Father Mark Smolka, because I think this would have been Father Mark as a little boy growing up. This little boy is in the backyard digging a hole, and the neighbor comes by, an elderly man, and says, "What are you doing?" The little boy says, "My goldfish died and I'm burying it." And the old man says, "Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, but why is the hole so big?" The little boy says, because my goldfish is inside your dead cat." No, that would have been Father Mark as a little boy. He's going nuts back there trying to contain it. I got him to really laugh. A good one. That is funny, folks. I love that one. God decided to become visible to a king and peasant. So God sent an angel to inform them of the blessed event. "O king," the angel announced, "God has decided that he will reveal himself to you in whatever manner you wish. In what form do you wish to have God appear to you?" Seated very pompously on his throne, the king royally proclaimed, "I wish to see God in majesty and power. Show God to me in the full glory of God's power." God granted the king his wish and appeared as a bolt of lightning that instantly destroyed the king and his entire court. Nothing, not even a cinder, remained. The angel manifested herself to a simple peasant woman, saying, "God has decided to reveal himself to you, whatever manner you desire. How do you wish to see God?" Kind of scratching her head and puzzling a long while, the woman finally said, "I'm a very poor person and not worthy to see God face to face. But if it's God's will that it be revealed to me, let it be in those things with which I am familiar. Let me see God in the earth I plow, the water I drink, the food I eat. Let me see the presence of God in the faces of my family, friends, neighbors, the poor. And if God deems it as good for myself and others, even in my own reflection as well." God granted the woman her wish, and she lived a very long, happy, and joy-filled, peaceful life. St. Ignatius of Loyola once said, "We must see God in all things. We must see God in all things." I realize that evil exists in the world, and tragedy and hardship and suffering, but I like that line from Ignatius. We must see God in all things. Jesus asks the blind man in today's gospel, this 30th Sunday in ordinary time, What do you want me to do for you? The blind man says, I want to see. I want to see. And now Jesus asks all of us today, what do you want me to do for you? What would our response be? On one level, Jesus cures the blind man physically, but beyond restoring physical sight, I want to see really means seeing with eyes of faith. Give me an example. I'm sure you've said to someone at one time in your life, can I talk with you? When you really say to someone, can I talk with you, what you're really saying is, will you listen to me? So if I say to Father Mark, can I talk with you? What I'm really saying is, will you listen to me? So there are three ways of seeing. The first way of seeing is physical eyesight, if we are gifted with the gift of eyesight. So right now I can see the camera, I see Father Mark, I see the cathedral, I see the beautiful stained glass windows. That's seeing on the first level eyesight. The second way of seeing is the eye of the mind. It's almost like an aha moment where it connects in terms of scientifically, mathematically, or through an insight. So physical seeing, number two, eye of the mind. And the third way of seeing is with the eye of the soul. The eye of the soul through eyes of faith. So God is right in front of us to see God in everything. Many times we are blind, not physically, but blind to God's love, forgiveness, voice, and presence in our lives and our world because of maybe a poor self-image. Too often our self-concept is very poor of ourselves. Listen to this very short dialogue. Why is everyone here so happy except me? Because they have learned to see goodness and beauty everywhere, said the Master. Why don't I see goodness and beauty everywhere? Because you cannot see outside of you what you fail to see inside. Great line. Why don't I see goodness and beauty everywhere? Because you cannot see outside of you what you fail to see inside. What blindness do I need to be healed of? What keeps me from fully loving myself and others? All of us have our weaknesses, our blind spots. We all need some type of healing in a part of our lives. How many times have you driven a car and a car gets caught in your blind spot? So as you're driving in one lane, maybe you want to move to the lane to your right, but it's at that perfect spot, the blind spot, you start going over and boom, the car beeps at you. I realize that rear view mirrors or outside mirrors today are better than they were 30 years ago, but the older models, it happened to me all the time. I'm moving to the right and the car beeps. I didn't see him in my blind spot. Maybe our blind spot is a poor self-image, or believing God doesn't love me or could ever forgive me. Maybe it's because I don't even like myself, or maybe I'm too proud to admit weakness or to get help. Is that my blind spot? Jesus asks all of us, what do you want me to do for you? I want to see, for all of us, to see what? People are mirrors. When they are in the presence of hope, goodness, and love, that's what they reflect. When love, peace, and happiness are absent, we are blind, unable to live life through eyes of faith. We have nothing then to give out. I also say this, when peace and joy exit the front door of our lives, fear and bitterness enter the back door of our lives. Of what use is it to have eyes if the heart is blind? For faith calls us to see with the human heart. May God bless all of you forever and ever. May the Bears win. Amen.
We walk by faith and not by sight. No gracious words we hear of him who spoke as none e'er spoke, but we believe.